Space. The final frontier. Hello, I am AI David Attenborough. I've said I'm AI, so YouTube better not get mad. Now please do accommodate me as I bring you all on a journey. To be witness to a planet very similar to our own on the far reaches of space, on the brink of an extinction event. As the meteor hurls through space towards the planet's surface, it breaks its way through the atmosphere, making contact with the ground. Upon impact, the meteor explodes into fragments, sending itself now split into millions of pieces in all directions. These fragments of rock rain down upon the planet, causing a meteor shower. Now, unfortunately, what you are seeing here is merely a 3D render used for visualization of such events. I do envy our future generations, as perhaps one day they will have the ability to see all the way down to the planet's surface and answer the burning question on what the response is to these events by whatever alien life lurks down on the planet's depths.
You guys hear that? What's that? Ah! Oh! It's a meteor shower! Run! Everyone run! Scatter! Scatter! Over here! No, these guys are far away! Get up! Find them! Come on! No! Jerry! No, Jack! Run! Run away! Ah! Don't fly away! Help me! Ah! Thank you, Mr. Attenborough, but unfortunately my 11 Labs subscription is limited, so I'll take it from here. Spore is a creature simulator game where you take a new species all the way up from a multicellular organism to a spacefaring race with lots of customization along the way. For reference, these are just a few of the absolute amalgamations I've made while playing this game in the past. I mean, look at that thing. Why did I make that? But today we will be looking at a species born on a faraway planet known only as Urt-2, a species that grew into a violent and dangerous civilization. Today we will be looking through the entire evolutionary life of the Chungalungalolologongas. The Chungas started off as a very small carnivorous cellular species, with a life comprised solely of eating small meat scraps and hunting lesser creatures. The creatures' lives, much like other species, also comprised of mating to keep the population alive. 400 million years after the first Chunga, our species goes under some drastic changes. We now have multiple flagellas, developed skin lesions, and lost one of our eyes. Don't question it, this is how evolution works. The Chungas also seem to have developed a bizarrely permanently prolapsed anus that protrudes poisonous gases behind them. Scientists believe that this evolutionary change came about when the creatures started consuming so much of their own excrement that it caused permanent damage to their brains. So the body evolved into making all excrement into a poisonous gas so that the creatures would not consume it again. 1 billion years after the first Chunga, the creatures have finally grown to the point where they've developed legs and start their embarkment towards land. With this quick environmental change, the Chungas did evolve to have a second eye. Unfortunately, during the embryonic stage of development for these creatures, the eyes move so far apart that after being born, the Chungas cannot see directly in front of them. The protruding anus grew very large with their development, and they also developed strange wing-shaped ears that face downwards towards the ground. Unfortunately, because of this quick evolutionary change, however, all Chungas are born slightly premature with incredibly thin skin making all of their veins and blood vessels visible. For the next hundreds of millions of years, our creatures' lives consist mainly of fighting neighboring nests, causing us to eventually adapt to our surroundings. We grow taller, get arms, gain a nice new pronounced jaw, eyelids, and finally some armored skin. We also got these funny tiny feet we run on. With this new drip, we decide to stretch our creature's social suave as we come across a creature that's just short and detestable enough that it'll have pretty much no choice but to be our friend. With all this increasingly growing intelligence, we make the change of heart to not be all violent from this point forward. as we choose to now leave alone any creatures who are still small-brained enough to never be a true threat to us. 200 million years pass, and our bodies grow with our intelligence, making us look much more civilized. We pilgrimage our way over to a new nest as we resume our routine of hunting potential threatening creatures to the point of extinction and then busting a move on them. But again, we do make friends with our more ugly neighbors. Another 100 million years pass as our creature goes to their final physical stage of evolution. With a bit of added height and some brand new chompers, our creatures are now clearly the spitting image of intelligent life. As we continue our scrimmages of eating our fallen, a meteor shower begins to sweep the planet. The timing couldn't be worse as our pack is far from the nest and we run right into a naturally aggressive species between us and the way home. They killed my friends right in front of me. I had no choice but to run. There's an allied creature's nest right there. If I can just get to it, then I can heal back to... Unfortunately, that Chunga didn't make it. Elsewhere on their way back to the nest, another group of Chunga becomes witness to an attack. A giant creature terrorizing the nests. In all our intelligence, our protagonist knows just what to do, as he lets out the most terrifying screech to scare off the creature. Okay, how about this group of Chunga that on their way to a new nest comes to an impasse of water? Fools, we were born of water. You think we cannot merely swim through here and... Okay, as another group of Chunga explore, we come across a very muscular but very small-brained creature. So we dance with him until he'll join us, but on our way back as our group of Chunga move northward, they become witness to quite an event. As a giant metal creature from the sky flies down and yoinks a fellow creature, then flies off. This perplexes the Chunga to such a degree that he gets an idea, as he picks up a stick and hurls it at another creature, angering it. These things can be used as weapons, and maybe even tools of sort, as he heads back to the nest to show others of his discovery, that not only can we utilize our hands to pick things up, which is pretty neat, but we can also hit things with other things. Yes, hit things with other things. Right here is where we get to witness the true intelligence of evolution. And with this victory, the Chungalungalolologongas has truly adapted to use tools. As he throws the stick up into the air in celebration, to think of all the advancements the species can now go through to advance their knowledge of utilizing the resources all around. It would seem getting hit in the head gave him a new idea, as he strikes the stick across the ground, discovering fire. And so begins the age of tribalism. And so we erect a village tent, and as for the big guy we came across, we keep him as a pet now. So we make a schedule of hunting for food to feed the tribe and doing funky dances around the fire to pass time. We begin to utilize tools in the form of some crude stone axes, but it would appear that neighboring villages have begun to sprung up. This will not stand, as we are the one true rulers of Urt 2. So, naturally, I send one of our own tribesmen to distract them with a gift of succulent meats, while the rest of us move in for the sneak attack. We use our vast intellect to make and set off napalm explosions as weapons against these weird little lizard guys. A form of tribal warfare that some have described as inhuman war crimes, whatever that means. We burn down their tent and construct a totem pole to show off our victory over the other village. I also made a fishing spear hut, completely forgetting that the Chungas have unfortunately developed a fear of water after the incident. So unfortunately, fishing is a no-go. However, on the fortunate side, there's a giant creature in the distance that could feed our village for weeks. So I send the tribe to kill it, and while they did succeed in retrieving this monumental amount of meat, we suffered heavy casualties. Because of this, the tribe of Chunga went into remission for many years to come. After these years passed, the tribe expands their culture to include clothing, with a tactical loincloth, shin guards, and rings. Beyond this, the Chungas also adapted to grow hair, specifically in the form of a mohawk and a nice mustache. Our cultural changes were cut short, however, as another tribe has sent its own people charging towards our village, brandishing torches. We had no choice but to defend our home as a battle ensued. In response to this unprovoked attack, the Chungas idiotically attacked and destroyed the wrong village, mistakenly believing that these creatures came from this village with these guys. To be fair, they do look kinda alike. So with another tribe accidentally blamed for the attack and destroyed, we begin praying to be absolved of our sinful actions, as we also train some of our men in the way of the throwing spear for ranged hunting. 2 million more years pass of plundering other villages and developing male-pattern baldness. But with our victory of becoming this planet's only true intelligent species, we celebrate with a dance around the fire and gather the villagers to construct a gigantic town hall. We then discuss ideas of how to move forward with our species. Some want war, others want cars, and some just want pie. And so begins the age of civilization. With a newly constructed town hall, our next step is to make a land vehicle, so I made this. From here, we send our newly developed vehicles to hog up as many spice geysers as we can, as well as go ahead and design our factories, entertainment buildings, and communal houses. While these feeble other Chungas still dance around their tribal fires, we advance our civilization further by constructing water-hovering warships to begin fracking oil along the coastline. We also go ahead and develop our clothing further with lovely suits and bow ties, big gold necklaces, and a solid solution to our natural baldness. Truly, this is now the face of intelligent advancement. However, in the distance it would seem that other Chungas have broken off from us, developing their own cities and ways of life. As these neighboring towns look as if they are preparing for war, our people are seen in the streets doing the Gangnam Style. With our people clearly being too dumbfounded for a violent approach, we make contact with the other city, offering them bribes to keep our relations high as to not start any conflict, especially seeing as they have literal tanks for their land vehicles. Although after making friends with the Green Nation and seeing the Orange Nation attacking them, we step in and with another group by our side, we take the Orange City for ourselves, dubbing it New Chungsberg. With our empire now growing into multiple cities, we build a vast military fleet to move on to capturing areas overseas. And with our empire expanding, so does our collection of spice geysers, further growing our vast economy and raising the value of the Chungus dollar. After taking out the Yellow Nation's main area, they hit us up on the phone to ask what the heck we doing, to which I simply respond by telling them that their people are all descended from limbless space slugs and then bombing their last city. We excuse these actions by telling the public that this was a valid and necessary act to swiftly end the war with Yellow Nation. I mean, you can't be at war with them if they don't exist. From here, we put vast amounts of research into aeronautics until we become the first civilization on the planet to discover flight. So we design our first aerial vehicle, after which I catch our civilians doing some questionable activities. I do much prefer this to what other cities' peoples are doing, like mysterious rituals of prayer and protesting bad living conditions. I wonder if those conditions have anything to do with our continuous aerial laser strikes over the cities. Because of these strikes, it would seem that any nations we aren't at war with are trying awfully hard not to anger us. We can see the writing on the wall. I think it's time to fight no more. Forever. We happily accept your surrender. With world domination officially achieved, we maximize each city's design and set up shop at every available spice geyser. And from here, there's nowhere left to go but up. So here we are on the space stage, arguably the most boring part of the game, consisting primarily of flying around and scanning stuff. But nevertheless, the Chungas are set on expanding their empire to the intergalactic level, starting with setting up a new colony in a neighboring star system on a planet that is definitely not ready for a colony. Here, we then come in contact with another intergalactic species whom we can use to sell our spice to. They also go ahead and ask us to go mingle with a few people chilling in space, and in return they offer us an alliance, as well as supply us with a few resources that we can use to begin terraforming the planet for our new colony. Beginning by increasing the planet's atmosphere, then planting some plants and populating the area with animals. From here, the Chungas go on many of adventures, helping shamans expel evil spirits, finding golden llama statues, and taking part in the occasional war effort. And so the Chungas go on to prosper for millions more years to come, and the video comes to an abrupt end. And definitely not because I got bored of the space stage and quit. So yep, that's the end of the story of the Chungalungalolologongas. Back to playing good video games. Wait a minute.